Xtal. I've heard this one before. It's so calming to me. Close, Milo, but not exactly. So there's kind of two different drum beats and two different chord progressions. The 4 on the floor drum groove, which is the first one, and then the one that has the more syncopation. I do notice that there's a lot of distortion on at least the first drum groove. There's a ton of reverb on everything. You can hear it right away. There's tons of reverb just on that hi-hat, which is doing that classic. You get the offbeat hi-hats, but you get this little assist right before it that sort of leads to it. That hi-hat is so sizzly. The sound of the synth is very hollow and airy. It's kind of hard to hear the exact pitches in some ways. It's almost like a puff of air. I am hearing sort of the semblance of a G minor chord and then this chord. And this is the flat 6. And so, but it goes there and stays there for the most of the part. And then at the last beat, there's like this really beautiful shimmer that rises up. It's quite, it feels metallic, like light going over a glossy metallic thing. And then the vocals come in. Some samples with these notes. Over this. Oh, no wonder that's so pretty. 7th. And I like this interval. I mean, if you just take these notes and play any rhythm and any combination, it sounds gorgeous. So even though it sort of feels minor key-ish, it also just feels so warm and relaxing. Like everything's gonna be okay. And then there's a second chord progression that comes in. So this one's like, notice how there's not really a bass. And it's something I noticed in his music. Sometimes he has a bass line or just like low end other than the kick. And other times he doesn't. I don't know where I got the notion that like you always have to have a bass line when you're doing something electronic. I mean, it feels different, but I like it. No, there is one. It's kind of do 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 do. So now it feels sort of like we're in B flat major. And there's a resolution here. Like, you can feel it, can't you? Moving, and now we settle. We arrive. I almost wonder if that snare is pitched down. It kind of sounds really, really dark. I think my favorite part of that song is when the kick comes in. Next is Xta. I have so many things to say. Hope I don't forget. Okay, first of all, I can really hear, I think, the influence of this album on some other artists that I really like Andy Stott and Rival Consoles, especially Rival Consoles. I think the star of this one is actually the syncopation, because yes, it has the kick on every beat, pretty much the entire song, right? A couple of moments where it drops out, which is exciting. But that's not really the interesting part. The interesting part is how that steady beat is interacting with all the offbeat things. So the bass line itself, which is kind of also the melody, it's so syncopated that it took me the entire song to start to understand the rhythm. Like when is that note changing? When, notes are changing on offbeats, notes are being repeated on offbeats, just a ton of syncopation makes it a little bit unpredictable. But again, it creates this great interplay with the kick. And same with the only other drum sound that I thought I could hear, which is the that sound. Right? This one is a volso, very syncopated. Did any of those line up with the beat? I don't think so. Nope. Ultra syncopation. I loved that. And it made it instantly feel groovy. Like I couldn't stop myself from tapping my foot. This line, again, I don't know exactly when it changes octaves or even some of the exact rhythmic repeats, but generally it's going like this, and then up here, and then here, and then down. Oh, sorry, I forgot. It actually goes da-da-da, yeah, which is really nice, and then A. So to me, this sounds like B minor. That's just how I hear it, but you can hear it lots of different ways because it's the notes in here fit into B minor, which means they would also fit into D major and a bunch of other scales that we are familiar with. So it really depends on where you feel a place of resolution. And you could argue in your spare time. You could sit down and argue with people about the key of songs. But yeah, it feels like it all comes back to the B. That's how it feels to me. There was also a beautiful pad, so ambient. Kind of sounds like D there, but I like this because it's got a pattern. The intervals are very consistent. I think it's really just that. These two perfect fifths, descending, cascading down. Just how beautiful is that? And then I swear I can almost hear like a ghost of a fifth under this one and even this one. But that might be some sort of harmonic or something. I'm not sure. I don't know what that sample's from. We could find out and go to whosampled.com. But that added definitely a whole dimension, I think, to the song. With all the reverb on it. Yeah, it just puts you in a space, right? I mean, that's really what reverb does. It makes you feel like whatever you're hearing, whatever the source of the sound is in a certain shaped or sized space. And that then feels very evocative. I imagine this whole thing being in some big space with the squeaking of the shoes on the floor. Next is Pulsewidth. It's the 90s. And there's a delay. Yeah. kept smiling because this one is in between keys. So I couldn't play along without it sounding really bad. Okay, I think C is actually somewhere between C and C sharp. Approximately. That's cool. And then the chords. These are all minor seventh chords, right? Yeah. How pretty is that? But that rhythm is so 90s dance. And this one actually has a... It's got... That's got the whole package. He was ahead of his time. So maybe he was doing this in the 80s. The 80s! Dun, 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 dun. Next is, I might have heard this before. Ageispolis? Ageispolis? Almost reminds me of interesting, the tuning. I was gonna say it reminds me of Enigma, but with a drum machine, sort of. Okay. The first thing I thought when I heard this, well, I was like, I recognize this. And I thought, oh, good, it's pretty much in tune with F minor, so great. But then the pads with the chords came in, and they were not in F. They were in like something between E and F. Now that I play along to this melody, it's not exactly F. It is a little bit flat, but the chords are flatter. The chords and the melody are a little out of tune with each other, but I think it's kind of cool. It's close enough that your brain can make sense of it and kind of can almost put them together. Like, I think at first my brain was like, oh my God, and it sounded really weird, but then within 20 seconds, I think, just the same way that our brain will start to even out asymmetries in our perception with repeated, like we're all asymmetrical, right, in our faces. We look in the mirror, we do it all the time. Our brain has actually changed how we see our features so that they look even. The brain likes symmetry. So I kind of think that's what my brain did. Quickly it was like, oh yeah, it's the same key. You'll hear it that way now. Presto. And then it really mostly did. There were a few moments where I was like, ooh. But it gives it a sound. You know, I think all of you watching probably know that I'm really into Nine Inch Nails. And there's a lot of detuned analog stuff and just detuned stuff in general. Detuned guitars, like out of tune with each other, I should say. You know, like plucks that don't, you know, blah, 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 right? And that is a quality. F minor. Actually, sorry. And then it goes down to the which is going to be B. Something, right? Why I like this a lot is because the melody sounds like it's F minor pentatonic, which is it's like you stripped away all of its color. It's kind of more, or you stripped away a lot of its tension. Let's put it that way. Pentatonic scales don't have a lot of tension. They don't have any tritones. They don't have any minor seconds. They don't have any just clashy things about them. They're very palatable and workable for melodies as a result. But then the chords here are doing a modal thing where you get like there's a scale called Dorian that has these two chords in it. It's not quite minor. It's a little bit of a variation, this note. And this note that's different from minor is the one that's nestled inside of this chord. So if this chord progression were in minor, I go da, 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 something, something, da, da, sorry, fuck, da, 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 something, da, da, do, 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 do. Sounds tragic if I'm being honest, whereas this sounds playful. Right, it's nice. So that was very pretty. And then the bass line was so cool. It had a lot of interesting rhythms. It had this one da 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 da. I loved that. And it went, I do love it when a bass line is really deep, but then it like climbs into the like low mid range. Same with a real bass, synth bass, real bass, whatever. It just sounds really good. It's like it sings up there. So there's some moments that were just so beautiful. Now the drums reminded me so much of Enigma. Not the drum sounds necessarily. It sounds like different drum machine. But the pattern, the kick, the doom, 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 doom. I think it's exactly the same in their single Sadness. This one has a tick, 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 tick. Whereas Ageispolis goes like, oh. It's similar. Possibly on so far that we've heard on this album has the most variation. It really feels like he put work into adding little changes. You know, maybe it's not like different every single bar, but a lot of them, there's like little tiny differences. Little shaker comes in here, the hi-hat or the little snare, you know, hits twice, or like that little drum fill here, right? The hi-hats, those little, you know. And I love how the hi-hat, the first open hi-hat is a different sample or different, it's a different sound than the last one, right? But you have to admit, they do have very similar patterns. When did Sadness come out? 1990. Anyway, back to the Aphex twin analysis, which is why you're here, not for the enigmalysis. I do have a whole video, though, on Enigma, so anyway. It's like you're floating. Man, that reverb. Nice, and it comes in right before the downbeat. Little pickup. Or a funner word for that is anacrusis. Yes, I said funner. You can say funner if you say anacrusis next because it balances out the stupid with the smart, so. Oh yeah, and that accent, man, that is the best part. Doom, 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 and the distortion on that. Sounds like is this an 808 drum machine? No, it's probably not. But the whole like trap producer 808 thing concept, the tuned bass drum, I feel like we're in that arena. So, you know, the kick sounded like it was around C, or I think you have a different song. No, yeah, I think it was around C. And then when it went to the, I think it went to the F, which is the tonal center. So it's very satisfying sounding. Yeah, it's good. But I just love, not only do I just love that accent, that it's like everything's rolling along and then you trip, but in a really cool way. But the distortion on it is so satisfying. Cool. I wonder, I feel like I've listened to I've listened to the ambient works with the orangey, yellowy, brownish cover. I don't think I've listened to this, but clearly I've heard some of these. The next one is a short track called I. Really beautiful. Almost feels like an improvisation. A little bit between keys again. Kind of D majory. So pretty. Green. I want to say Calx, even though there's no vowel in between the L and the X. That just feels right. Acid. This is the 80s. It's gotta be. I need a beverage. Okay. All right. Let me just say this. I'm sure that that was impressive for the time. It certainly does help to deepen the meaning of something, to know the context. Just like, understanding the lyrics to a song deepens the meaning. Figuring out why this feels this way or that on the, piano deepens the meaning. Understanding how something was put together deepens the meaning. Understanding when it happened in synth history deepens the meaning. When it happened in human history deepens the meaning. But it won't have any bearing on taste. Our preferences, I think, which is just the way you like certain foods, right? And you can develop tastes for certain things over time with exposure. Other things you just never like. And the sounds in there are those foods for me. I can't handle most of those sounds. So that was hard for me to listen to. I'm sure you could tell. Having said that, I thought that the use of sampling was really cool. There was a sample in there that was like almost a mechanical noise that he made sound very musical. But also, this was really pretty. This, the acid bass line was doing sort of this Phrygian thing, just a scale. And this was... I liked that. Even the 303, that acid thing, sometimes I'm into it, sometimes not. That's more like a food where I have to be in the mood for it. Anyway, I hope you don't hate me. If that's your favorite song, I'm sorry. I'm not saying it's bad. It's just not for me. Okay, next one is Heliosphan. At least I can pronounce these names. Oh, there better be a 4 on the floor. I'm ready. Oh, I think I've heard this. Oh, this drum beat? Did you want this? No? Oh, okay. I was so expecting one of those just pounding reverby 4 on the floors, and it wasn't. This one, the structure of this one, so if you're like writing stuff and you're having trouble finishing it because you have like one singular idea and you don't know where to take it, this one moves things forward by having like, say, 7 layers and dropping in and out of them, right? At some point, they're all going, probably, but most of the time, it's different combinations of those layers just turned on and off. So there's the foundation of the harmony, which is the... classic F minor kind of thing. And then there was the sorry. Kind of pad layer that came in. And then there was the da 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 or whatever. Da 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 da. That one. Right? More syncopated, melodic, kind of a counter melody. I mean, almost this one's almost more of a melody, and that one's more like a little ostinato thing. And then there were at least 3 drum layers. There was this one, right? The hi-hats doing the little bursts, a couple bursts per bar, I think. And with a nice long one as well. Oh yeah, lots of them. Tons. And then the what sounded like some kind of breakbeat sample, which had a very different quality. Could you hear that? The sizzliness of this drum machine, very different than the sort of shrouded, muddled, kind of mid-heavy, right, doesn't have any sizzle, doesn't have any low end either. It's very, very different sound. And then there was another layer that you could hear kind of come in and out. I'm not exactly sure what it was, but, oh, right. And then there's other little percussive layers. Something that's going, anyway, there's a bunch. And there might have been another loop as well. So it kind of drops in and out of those. And it's just a matter of changing from one gear to another. And, you've got a track. Voila. I wrote to my mom, and I meant to write voila, but I switched the O and the I, and I wrote viola. This is a running joke. It's been a long time. So now we don't say voila to each other. I go viola. Next is We Are the Music Makers.
We are the music makers, and we are the dreamers of dreams.
Might be a linear drum groove where no two drums hit at the same time. This one feels like a jam. Okay. I couldn't help but imagine him jamming. Like that was like a live performance. Kind of like, and I was so entranced by the harmony because this thing I was playing, sorry. This line. That's right. This and this, that is just an unusual harmony to something. Because you can hear the melody in the bass when it starts to do it. It's like, sometimes like and but some things harmonizing with this main note, whole step away, and then with this note, it's a whole step, half step down. Those are very strange harmonies. Normally, harmonies are not creating dissonance with the melody to like, for harmony to, let's say, clarify and support the melody, you would want to have like a consonant interval, like a third or something. Not saying he should have done that. I'm just saying that's like when people think of adding harmonies, it's often what they're thinking of. Maybe there's some tense moments, but they always release into something that supports the melody and doesn't confuse the melody. This is the kind of harmony that confuses the melody. It took me a second to figure out which one of these notes is the melody and which one's the harmony, right? Because they're so close. Anyway, I'm enamored. I think that sounds so good. So cool. Fun. Okay. Next is Schottkey 7th Path. What is that called? Okay, so we had this. Sounds very mysterious. A lot of dissonance, like this. And this tritone. And this minor ninth, yeah. And then the chords underneath are like these big, soft, billowy fifths, like. And they felt like they were moving however they wanted, whenever they wanted. Really very interesting contrast between the layers. And then the drums, not dance groove, right? A little more textural, a little more almost like folky. I don't know. Like I could imagine playing those drums around a fire, which is just like a ton of reverb. But, you know, there was one of those rigid things you drag a thing across. And yeah, it's interesting. I loved it when they turned up like opened the synth up. They opened up some synth now. Was it the melody? Yeah, where it kind of blossomed and got loud and bright, and then it kind of nice variation there. Okay, cool. Next is I was already thinking about the word, and I next is Ptolemy. Oh God. Let the music. starting to really drive me crazy. Shorten those bass notes to the nibs. Did that really just happen? Did I make that up? Oh, it's the end of the pattern. I just delayed it. Okay. I was like, I'm hallucinating that it won't actually stop. Okay, so that was, it sounded like a sample of a major chord. I don't know what it was. I don't know what it was. It has a ton of reverb on it, and it's a major chord, so he's moving it around, and therefore it's very chromatic sounding, because you wouldn't have all these major chords right next to each other in like a key or something. So it's like... Da, 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 da. Sorry. Da, 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 I think. Doesn't that sound right? It's hard to do the da da. It's like really hard for me. And I remember figuring out a couple other parts, but now all I can hear is that. Like literally, that's it. That's all I can hear. Oh yeah, that's right. There were chords. There were some slow moving chords. It was like. It's not the same as Terrible Lie, but it got me feeling like the Terrible Lie, the second chord in Terrible Lie is really dissonant and unexpected, whereas this one's not like that, but the last part feels the same. This one's like... It's very pretty, beautiful pattern of tension, tension, resolution. It's really nice. All right, next is Hedphelym. The sound of this album is and that sizzly reverb. Sounds kind of detuned. Hear the dive it takes pitch-wise. Maybe this is microtonal. It's out of tune with itself. That one, so that one is, I mean, this part that it ended on, that does sound tonal, meaning it sounds like it's there's a pattern that we recognize, like, oh, I could put that into a scale. I could identify sort of like a main note that everything's sort of like the sun of that melody, what everything's orbiting around. It has a shape, but it sounds out of tune with itself, meaning like the intervals between the notes are not in our standard tuning all the time. Some of them are, and some of them I can just hear it are not. So someone who's into microtonal music would listen to this a very specific way and go, they would have a name for the intervals I'm hearing, whereas I don't. All I can say is like, it's something between a tritone and a perfect fourth. And they would be like, no, it's called a which is so cool. But it's oddly beautiful. I think it's quite enchanting, this one. The other part, though, was downright creepy to me, and I think it's because it sounded completely atonal, and I felt so lonely during this other part. Like, let's see if I can find it. This. Like, everything feels dangerous and unrelated and unrecognizable. You know, the thumping that used to be kind of comforting now feels like my heart beating out of my chest. You know, you can hear the cavernousness of the space you're in because you're left without the space being filled up by the Hedphelym, which is a made-up word, but did I say it right? Hedphelym. I didn't. Sorry. Hedphelym. It's a made-up word, but it reminds me of seraphim, which is some kind of angel, right? Oof. Okay. Delphium. There's a tambourine. This one relies on a lot of awesome delay, timed delay, to create all that complexity. The drums are pretty dry. In fact, I don't detect any reverb on this one. God, that cow bellow! Isn't that what it's supposed to be? Ooh, I really like those sounds that are left over from the delay at the end. You could make a whole drum beat, kind of like percolating layer underneath those. So this one kind of does also have the I think. At least it sounded that way with everything all together. And yeah, it's devoid of reverb, but it has a lot of delay. So it still adds dimension, but it's, you know, it's noticeably dry. And it still sounds really cool. This one's in F minor, and a lot of the lines are written in F minor pentatonic. Like that. The whole bass line is in there. And I think a bunch of the melody that had a delay on it as well, I think was also minor pentatonic. Again, it's a very pleasing ladder to climb. Nothing that's going to jump out and scare you. And even this is also fairly innocuous. So it's very pretty. When you take all the melodic layers out, it's very pretty. He used a bunch of different things, but mainly for this one, he used a Roland R8, which was introduced in '89, and he had a TR-808 expansion card or something. And then he had something called a quadraverb. So maybe that's where all that reverb is coming from. Quadraverb sounds about right? Like a lot of reverb. Yeah. We have one more. Actium. He likes to fade in his lines in this album, which I like better than just starting it. Ease us in. remember what I was going to say about Delphium. Pitch that down. The whole step, I think. Okay, so while I've been listening to this album, I've had this thought more than once, and I decided not to share it because I thought it would sound unnecessarily judgmental. But now I know that it's actually a fact. A lot of this sounds to me like a very young person putting together music without a lot of experience. And he was, when he started this project, I mean, I'm assuming 85 to 92 are the years that he was making this music. Maybe that's a silly assumption because he is kind of an interesting person and I could see him anyway, but I'm going to just assume, I guess I don't have to assume. I mean, it's got to be, right? What else could it mean? Anyway, let's just assume that's true. That means he started this project when he was 14. But there's no doubt that this is such a talented person and he's done so much and he was such a pioneer and he's inspired so many people. And, you know, I did a poll between this album and Cyro, which was what, 2022 or 2020 or something, fairly recent. And, you know, I've listened to Druck, and I would love to next listen to Cyro just to get sort of the breadth of where he started and where he ended up. All right, y'all. If you liked this video, you thought I was going to say like and subscribe, didn't you? Well, sure, you can do that, but also you could hug someone. I have a Patreon. It's the main way that I support myself and my cats. I don't do sponsorships and I can't monetize these videos. So if you can't join my Patreon, just share my videos with people that you think would like them. And you can also come join on my live streams every Sunday from 3 to 5 Central and every Wednesday from 5 to 7 p.m. Central. I also make music. I just released my first album. Yep, I'm 20 years late, but oh well. Thank you to my patrons for making all of this possible. So I have 2 cats, Pax, my orange guy, and Milo, my brown girl over here. And she likes to stand on surfaces that are very far away from where I am and try to get my attention to get me to go over there to her and pet her on either that surface or a different one. Like she'll lead me to a different spot to be pet. It's super cute, but I can't always get up and do that. Sometimes I need her to come to me. Most of the time I need her to come to me because I'm in the middle of something. Me going like, just come here doesn't work at all. She likes to go up to my curtains and put her claws in them and then pull it out and it makes a big popping noise. It drives me crazy and she knows it. She looks me in the eye and she's like, and I'll be like, Milo. She's just like, I've noticed that if I meow, she'll come running. So I've learned her meows. Let's see if it happens. My favorite one she does is the, it's kind of like okay. She'll do that. She'll be like, okay. Yes, my baby. Yes, my baby. She's so cute. Oh my goodness. All right, y'all. I'll see you next time. Bye.